Okay, I am here with two very patient and understanding customers. If you do not know the backstory of what happened, I was commissioned to build these tables, 3 tables for these lovely people that you see here on screen. I got almost all the way done and I found trapped moisture in the wood, which rendered all 3 tables unusable. They had already been waiting over a year, so I had to call them, explain the situation, and basically say that we're starting all over. I got a lot of questions on social media of people wondering how did they take that and what did they really think. So I have some questions from the viewers and some of my own questions, and they agreed to do a quick Q&A session to answer some of those questions. So thank you guys so much for being on.
You're very welcome, of course.
Given the fact that you'd already waited a year and I'm telling you, hey, we got to start all over, what were your first thoughts? How did you guys take it?
I think you handled this exceptionally well.
Yeah.
In the way we appreciate honesty and appreciate and understand also that it's natural material, so stuff can happen. It's of course a little bit of disappointment, but
especially since we went through the process of, you cut up the pieces, you had templated them, yay, they're coming. And
you started to take some ownership over. You're feeling like they're yours.
Yeah, we're going, okay, how are we going to ship it? And then there's like, oh yeah, no. And I'm like, crap. So I remember that was my first feeling, is like, oh man, is it really? I mean, is what happened and how could that happen? So there's a bit of a
You went into some of the bargaining and the stages of grief.
Yes, exactly. But what I was telling Robert earlier, that the irony of the situation is one of the reasons we wanted to work with you, besides just loving the work you do, is the fact that you seem to do so with a high degree of integrity and a commitment to quality. So here we are a year in, and we can't have our stuff because of your high degree of integrity and commitment to quality. So of course we have to go, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that actually leads me to my next question. Is a great segue. Is, given that first failure, do you have any concerns when you finally do get your tables in hand that they will be exactly what you're hoping for?
No concerns. No. We, in fact, we were just joking about, it seems like every time you do a video, you learn something. So we're thinking by the time we get our product, you're the master of all masters, and we're gonna have the best furniture you have ever made.
I joke about this with a friend of mine that I've promised to build him a guitar for like 8 years now. And I keep telling him the longer I take to do it, the better I'm going to be. So let's just keep pushing this down the road. Because I don't know how to build one yet, but I'm getting a little bit better each day.
Right. Well, and it's also it's the internet's funny because you feel like you kind of get to know people watching them as they're putting content out there, and you do have a high degree of I don't know, openness or
customer centricity.
Yeah, you're just very real, very honest, and with the things you do well as the things it's like, oh yeah, look what the heck I just did. And I actually love your wit and sense of humor. It's got that dry, sly side to it. But and so again, one of the reasons that we enjoyed watching what you did is learning how you've learned. So
it is, everybody has problems and mistakes, and I try to advertise them. I feel like it makes the videos more interesting. And as a business, I'm almost surprised at how much customers appreciate that. They say, hey, if he messed this up and he was able to fix it by doing this, then he'll definitely care about our product. And so instead of pretending I do everything perfect.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think that is one of the reasons you work with a craftsmanship person, however you say that. I mean, when you start to look at the accessibility of having stuff custom made or working with something that's that, form and function thing, that's one of the benefits, is actually, that connection to it being a unique piece.
I've wondered this. You guys handled the bad news so incredibly well. Have you experienced anything similar or other delays, even to a lesser degree? It almost felt like you'd been through this.
Yes, but never handled this well.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, we went through a pretty major house remodel. So I've been in a situation where we've built a house from scratch, and then we're living in a house that was remodeled. And anybody who's done any sort of construction, it always takes longer and costs more, always. And that is no disrespect to folks in that business. Oftentimes it's the customers themselves that create delays and cost increases and that sort of stuff. So we've just been through it. And honestly, our personal philosophy is, and my mom's going to laugh at me because this is such her phrase, is why get your panties in a wad over something you don't have any control over,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
So there's a certain amount of, you know, again, if there's trust and respect on each side, it's a thing. And you
well, I assure you it won't cost you anymore, but the time will. It's been longer.
No, that's
Well, we
good.
haven't talked about shipping yet.
Oh, well, no, we always knew that was going to be a separate thing. So yeah, no problem on that. Yeah.
You kind of touched on this earlier, and I'm not just pumping you for compliments here, but I want to kind of hammer home this, or somebody had asked this, is how do you feel that I handled the situation? Is there anything I could have done better?
Not made the mistake in the first place.
I agree.
No.
That would have been ideal.
I say that with tongue in cheek. No, we talk about customer experiences because we will go back and work with people over and over again based on how the experience is for us. And you gave us every option and told us in a timely fashion. We couldn't have done anything different. It was perfect, and we didn't feel any pressure to make any decision one way or the other.
Yeah.
So,
which leads me to another question is I'd offered, it was little consolation that far into the project, but I offered money back if you'd prefer that. And is there any specific reason why you wanted to not start over with someone else, or was it just that you were so time committed already?
No, I think it's more that I don't see it as it being your fault. You know, there was moisture in these slabs. That's happens. You know, so.
Well, I should and could have caught it. I learned a lesson. I think there's also going to be another interview with a wood supplier if you guys are interested in watching that to see his thoughts and see how he handled it. And he handled, he accepted a lot of, his responsibility just like I tried to. I thank him for that. And also, if the viewers might not know, that wood supplier, as you guys know, agreed to give us really, really special wood that was much more expensive at no additional cost to either of us. So I think that is a small silver lining, or maybe a large silver lining, to this whole project.
Well, it's to your point, we were kind of emotionally connected to what you had built before. So even though you're looking at this beautiful wood and no, we're going to even have, even better pieces, you're still like, yeah, but those were my pieces. But to your very point, you did everything you possibly could to give us the best of what was available. But the thing is we had chosen to work with you originally because we liked your work. That didn't change because of this oopsie daisy. Mm-hmm. So, and we're not, it's not like we're eating off of cardboard boxes or,
It is a nice IKEA table though.
we had to get a temporary table because the table, that your table is going to be here in our home. We sent the other table down to our other house. So we've been using a temporary table for a while, and the other two pieces are additional pieces. They're not center pieces, if you will. So we did have the time and space to be patient and wait, because we really, again, as I said, our selection, us choosing you and wanting to, work with you didn't change because of this. So,
I really appreciate that.
Well, sure.
But I think if the customer experience had not been like this, it's a whole different story. So if you would have, I don't know, denied.
So there's a question. What would have been the wrong way for me to handle this? What would have upset you guys and made you want to move on?
It's not giving the options, I think.
Like you could have said, this didn't work out. I have other clients now that are in the queue that I'm going to further delay. So I've got to go work on their stuff, would have been something. And so further delayed us. Sending work you knew was bad would have been bad.
Sure.
If you just summarily said, this didn't work out for me and I can't do the work, so here's your money back. Amazingly enough, that would have been really disappointing.
Sure.
But the fact you offered, again, there was no option aside from, magically making the things you made dry. There was no other, You offered every option. So, it could have been that, or
no communication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is like we're well past the time it's supposed to be delivered. And then you call us and go, oh yeah, by the way, 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago or whatever sort of thing. So
Sure.
no, you were proactive, you were honest, and you gave us every option to move forward.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Do you have any questions for me on the project?
Where
Or
are we
anything
at?
else?
Is it dry yet?
Yep. So where we are today is I'm finishing up a build currently that should be done in the next probably 2 weeks. And then you're the next project up after that. I've talked to the wood supplier, said the wood is ready to be picked up or ready for me to go personally inspect, I should say. And then you're the next in the queue. So it's going to be all hands on board, and we'll go through all the same layout process and everything like we did on the first series of table, and hopefully get you to have some ownership and feel like these new tables are a part of you.
Round two.
Very exciting.
Same player.
Yeah.
Same player plays again.
And also as another silver lining to this, technology is moving quick in the woodworking world, and we now have a new nano finish that's incredibly protective. And I wouldn't have had that with when the tables were done before. So now you'll get even more protection on your tables.
That, and especially with it being a dining room table and having children, it's going to be it's going to be important.
Well, guys, just again, thank you so much for your patience and your trust in me. It does mean a lot that you want to stick with me, and thank you again for doing this interview.
Of course, you're very welcome.
Very welcome.